knows the reason why. But then if you're also at school, you work at an office, you have a car, and you are looking for the most hygienic, absorbent, and affordable option to clean dirt, makeup, sweat, or even your tears. And I know probably some people will cry today. Come to me for Flora, okay? Yes, use Flora disposable tubes today. They come in Flora Joy, Flora Smile, Flora Giant, and also Flora Kid for making us #1. Clap for Flora again.
Well, Patricia and Becca, don't leave the stage yet. Don't leave the podium yet. I'm sure you both might have heard this saying before, catch them young.
And they shall be yours forever.
So this afternoon, we've been joined by some students or pupils, they're in JHS, from Martyrs of Uganda RC, JHS. They're here to observe what is happening. So please stand, let's give you a round of applause. Stand.
Please, let's clap for
There they are.
Martyrs of Uganda.
They are in JHS, and they are joining us. Has the camera captured them? Yeah. And they're here to observe what is happening.
Great.
And I'm sure that in the next year, 2 or 3, they'll be in the same auditorium debating for their schools.
Definitely.
Show them some love one more time. A round of applause.
And thank you so much.
Thank you very much, and you're welcome. Now you can get off my stage.
Thank you, David.
So this morning on radio, we're having our radio conversation on the morning show. And, you know, yesterday we got to know of the fact that the education minister says students should be disciplined when they flout school, regulations. So they should discipline you. So during the phone-in segment, somebody calls on the show and says, Mrs. Jackson, hey, Mrs. Theodosia Jackson, when you flout school rules, she'll make you read Proverbs 1 to 31. That's her punishment for you. You read Proverbs from chapter 1 to 31. And she's here this afternoon as our chairperson and doubles up as also as the ambassador for the Love FM High School Debate. A round of applause for our chairperson. And let me tell you something little about her. Between 1979 and 1992, she was the assistant headmistress for Kumasi High School. In 1992 to 2008, and became the pioneering headmistress of KNUST JHS. Then in 2009, she formed Jackson Educational Complex with her husband, Professor Jackson, which is now Jackson University College. Jackson University College has over 22,000 graduates, and they are now offering master's program. Jackson University has a new department called the Jackson Institute of Technology. Please put your hands together for our chairperson, 3 of them, Mama Lou. Well, she's one of our judges this afternoon. Now, she's a senior lecturer at the Kumasi Technical University, and she teaches English and communication skills. She has more than 30 years experience under her. She doesn't wear a belt, does she? Okay, under something else. And she's here as one of our judges. Ladies and gentlemen, please put your hands together for Mama Lou, Dr. Mrs. Lucy Bonku. Another judge amongst us this afternoon goes by the name Professor Anthony Kofi Osei Ofosu, not Fosu, Fosu. And he is also nicknamed Ofag. Say to me, Ofag. Let me hear you say it. And put your hands together for him. Now, Professor Anthony Kofi Osei Fosu is an associate professor at the Department of Economics at KNUST. Now, he's also taught for over 30 years. Many of you were not born at the time. Prof, good afternoon to you, and thanks very much for joining us. The third judge happens to be our lead judge for the Love FM High Schools Debate. He is the former head of the English department and former head of the Language and Communication Sciences department at KNUST. He delves into textuality, oral, written, and all kinds of text. Ladies and gentlemen, I don't know which of the names to pronounce, whether to refer to him as Pierrot, Papa Kwesi, or Dr. Peter Arthur. He's here as our lead judge. Put your hands together for him one more time for me. And he is an empiricism man as well. And he says that he who asserts must prove. For all the patrons and all the debaters and all of you watching us on television, listening to us on radio, and also watching us on Facebook, please listen attentively. We have rules of engagement that governs what we do here. And Dr. Peter Arthur, in a bit, will come and run us through the rules of engagement. But I want to share this with you. I've already introduced you 3 judges, and they'll be scoring for the debaters. We have what we call the unanimous decision, and we also have what we call the majority decision. Unanimous decision means that all 3 judges scores for the school that advances to the next stage of the competition. Majority means that 2 out of the 3 will score and will tell us which school is advancing to the next stage of the competition. So if out of the 3, 1 judge will score such that a school has a very high mark, it does not override the 2 judges' decision to let that school that qualifies to the next stage advance. Have you heard me? At this point in time, I'd like for you to one more time put your hands together for Dr. Peter Empiricism Kwesi Arthur to give us the rules of engagement and also how they score. Prof, good afternoon. And I don't know whether you went to meet the President John Dramani Mahama or the King of England.
Thank you, Dave. Thank you, Dave. Yes, Madam Chair, with your permission, I give the scores and then the rules of engagement. Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm here to provide the scores and then the rules of engagement. For the scores, we have 5 parameters. That is organization and clarity, argument and development, effective use of rebuttal, presentation style, and role as a particular debater. Now, for organization and clarity, we are talking about how you start, how you develop, and how you land. Please note that your articulation of points must be very clear, because it's when your point is clear that will be able to add all the other marks that you are scoring. Some of you like that maze. Now, the first speaker is taking 15 marks for that. And then the second speaker is taking 10 marks for that. And for the summary, it's 5 marks. Argument and development, we know it already. You raise a point and you support the point. And the first speaker is taking 15 minutes. The second speaker is 15 marks. And then the second speaker is taking 10 marks. And then the summary is going for 5 marks. Effective use of rebuttal, your ability to know the gap in reasoning of the opponent and then explain to us why you think it is a gap. The first speaker is taking 5 marks for that, and then the second speaker is taking 10 marks for that, and then the summary, you are having 5 marks for that. Presentation style, how you engage the audience, your body language, your verbal language. And here I refer to your use of the English language, how you use the floor and all that. Please note that you don't rush us as if we have some parrot which is reciting. Don't do that. Speak naturally and fluently. The first speaker is taking 5 marks, and then the second speaker is taking 3 marks, and then the summary you are having 2. Role as a particular debater. The first debater is very powerful, effective, and then the second debater is only supporting him or her. Now the first speaker is taking 5 marks, and then the second speaker is taking 3 marks, and then the summary, you are going for 2 marks. Let's listen to the rules of engagement, and please pay attention. The principal speaker on the affirmative team presents argument in support of the motion, and that's 10 minutes. The principal speaker on the opposing team presents argument opposing the resolution. That's also 10 minutes. The second speaker on the affirmative team presents further arguments in support of the resolution and identifies areas of conflict, answering questions that may have been raised by the opposition speaker. That's 7 minutes for you. And then the second speaker on the opposing team presents further arguments against the resolution, identifies areas of conflict, and answers questions that may have been raised by the previous affirmative speaker. That's 7 minutes for that. And then the principal speaker on the affirmative team comes with closing statements on their argument without adding any new information, and also uses the opportunity to respond to rebuttals, if any. And that is also 5 minutes. The principal speaker on the opposing team comes with closing statements to their arguments without adding any new information, and also uses the opportunity to respond to rebuttal if necessary. 5 minutes. Now, note that speakers are supposed to be very audible. And in that quest, send the microphone to the mouth the way I am using the microphone. And then the principal speaker raises 5 points or less, and the supporting speaker raises 3 points or less. Now let's have some other external rules. He who asserts, oh, you are old members. He who asserts must prove, yes. And in order to establish an assertion, the team must support It's with enough facts and evidence, ladies and gentlemen. Facts and support, facts and figures must be accurate. Examples of visual materials are permissible, and once introduced, they become available for the opponent's use if so desired. Tangible evidence must be tendered as exhibits to support facts. And then in rebuttals, the debater rebutting may ask any constructive and clear question that has a direct bearing on the point raised. The one rebutting must confine him or herself to questions and not to make statements, comments, or ask any rhetorical question. Supporters from both sides are to exercise discipline, not to induce, frustrate, or intimidate the speaker on the other side. Failure would attract deduction of marks from their team. Let's talk about time. Debaters must respect time. If you are bailed out, you must end your presentation. Otherwise, you will lose marks. And then in the event of a tie, the two schools involved will be given a motion to debate within 2 days, that is 48 hours. Note, the score of one judge cannot overturn that of two judges. It's been said already, and I'm repeating that. There is either a majority decision from the judges, meaning 2 judges out of the 3 scored for a school. And there could be also unanimous decision, meaning all 3 judges scored for a school. Note that any issue arising out of the exercise must be addressed to the producer. Please, let's look back. The gentleman who has raised the hand. Yes. Any problem, and he will see whoever has to solve the problem. And at the 116 stage, motions will be given to school 2 days before the contest. Dave, I end here.
One fine gentleman like that, with a nice suit and tie. The impressive man. Please put your hands together one more time for Dr. Peter Arthur. Well, I hope that all that he read was not just running through your ears, but you have absorbed it. It's very important. Ladies and gentlemen, we're just about to witness Contest 5 in the round of 16 stage of the 2025 edition of the Love FM High Schools debate. I'm sure you're excited to be here. Please put your hands together for your own selves and welcome. On behalf of the organizers, I welcome you warmly. Those of you watching us on television, Joy Prime, Joy Learning. Those of you watching us on Facebook on Love 99.5. Those of you listening to us on radio on Love 99.5, we salute all of you. The first contest for today, which of course happens to be the contest 5, is going to be between I Amass Kumasi, and they'll be facing Oppon Memorial Senior High School. Now, I Amass, they are for the motion. Oppon Memorial, they are against the motion. Now, the motion is betting game has more positives than negatives. Now, whilst Doctor was engaging us, he told you about respect of time. And he says, if you're bailed out, you stop whatever it is you're doing. So we have an accurate timekeeper in our midst. His name is Emmanuel Koji. When you're halfway through your presentation, he will alert you, and this is what you will hear. When your time is fully up and you ought to stop whatever you're doing and drop the microphone, this is what you will hear. Now, I speak fast, but no judge is judging me or giving me marks for that. He says when you come and you sing and you think you are singing and you are talking at the same time, they don't hear a thing, it will go against you. Take your time and speak. Amass. Amass. Phobia. Amass. Amass. Phobia. Please stand. You know the drill already. You're standing because you're about to sing for us your school anthem. And like I always say to the students that I engage with, please sing your school anthem with pride and with joy. Sing with all the energy you can master, beaming with smiles whilst you sing it. Are you ready to do that for us? Okay, your old students are watching you from afar and also from near. They'll be happy because where they are, they will be singing. They will not hear you. They can hear you sing. You will not be able to hear them sing. So make your school proud. Now, Uncle Collins is ready, aren't you? He says, yes. So you follow his lead on 3. 1, 2, 3. A round of applause for your own selves. Oh, you can do better with the applause. It's for you, your own selves. And whilst you are applauding, let's welcome your debaters. Morrison Ansa Prempe is the principal speaker, assisted by Manasseh Aqua. Where are they? There they are. They are for the motion, so they'll be taking the C Suma, right? Omes. 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 Please stand. And you're also standing now because you're about to sing for us your school anthem. And you know the drill already? You have to sing with energy, sing with pride, sing with joy. Let everybody know that you are proud to belong to, Oppon Memorial, and you're happy to be here to support your debaters. Are you ready? Yes. I can hear you. Are you ready? Yes. I still can't hear you. Are you ready? Yes. Then on 3, 1, 2, go. Okay, so let's also welcome your speakers. Rosalind Owusu Edusei is the principal speaker, supported by Christabel Nyakun. And from where I'm standing, I can see them descend the stairs. The motion for contest 5 is betting game has more positives than negatives. And it's going to be between I Amass SHS and Oppon Memorial SHS. Madam Chairperson, with your permission, can they begin the debate? She's given her blessing. Accurate timekeeper, are you ready? That's a signal to tell me that he's ready. The judges are looking at me. Judges, are you ready? They're also nodding in affirmation. To the debaters, are you ready as well? They say they are. So let's go to I Amass and call upon their principal speaker, Morrison Ansa Prempe, to start the debate. Welcome him warmly.
Helen Keller, an American author, once said, and I quote, "Life is either a daring adventure or nothing at all," unquote. My civilities to the chair, bold and amiable panel of judges, accurate timekeeper, heads of school present, respected teachers, our lovely co-debaters, fellow students, ladies and gentlemen. I am Ansa Morrison Prempe, the principal speaker for I Amass Senior High School, Kumasi, the chair. The motion before the second start today is, quote, "Betting games has more positives than negatives," unquote, and we strongly rise to support the said motion. But the chair, before I proceed, I would like to decipher some certain key terms embedded in the motion so as to make it clear and understandable for all and sundry. Betting, the chair, as according to Oxford Languages, refers to the act of risking money from unpredictable match or race. The chair, the house, the adjectives, positive and negative, as according to Merriam-Webster Dictionary, simply means having a good effect or lacking the good effect, respectively. The chair, in all, the motion simply means the benefit of betting games outweighs its adverse effect. The chair says the key terms embedded in the motion have been clarified. Kindly permit me to proceed. Point number 1. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, we believe that betting games serves as a major revenue for the government. Many governments around the world, including Africa, collects taxes, levies, and also licensing fees from these betting companies. The chair, for instance, Dr. Kweku Anderson, the General Secretary of Ghana Association of Sports and Betting Operations, disclosed that these firm bettings have generated 450 Ghana cedis to the Bank of Ghana as tax. And also, according to the GRA, reported that the GRA has also reported of generating 15 million Ghana cedis from the betting tax, and also targeted a 60 million Ghana cedis at the end of the football season. The chair, the House, all these earnings help to reduce the budget deficit and also provide other alternative sources of funding beyond foreign aid and also borrowing. Point number 2, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, we believe that the betting industry has become a major employment, offering both direct and indirect job opportunities. The chair, the House, in Ghana, companies like Betway, BetPower, and also MyBet have played a crucial role in providing job opportunities for these unemployed youths in the aspect of marketing, ICT, customer servicing, and also mobile payment processes. The chair, the House, according to Betting Control Commission, as published by the Ghana Business News in 2nd October 2024, the chair, it reveals that it has created 10,000 job opportunities for the unemployed youth. The chair, the House, again, an evidence from the University of Cape Coast 2023 reveals or indicates that these companies support economic empowerment. So the chair, the House, the existence of these job opportunities has reduced the unemployment rate in our country, increasing the income level of people, and also fostering stability for family members. Point number 3. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, for many, betting is a harmless form of entertainment. Just people pay money to watch football and also sporting activities. Others place bet as excitement. The chair, many bettors view betting as a hobby, which makes them relax after engaging in long-term activities. The chair, a study title, does sports betting affect investment behavior? This was conducted in Accra by Ofosu and Korte in the year 2022, which reveals that the bettors clearly distinguish between betting for investment and also betting for fun. The chair, it will shock you to hear that some bettors even make personal budgeting for their betting activities, like others who make personal budgeting for their recreation and also night lives. The chair, the House, moreover, the social nature of betting, often done among friends during sports matches, further reinforces its role as casual entertainment rather than its financial feature or venture. The chair, this insight is crucial to understand that for the majority, betting is a part of the lifestyle which cannot be eradicated rather than economic gamble. The chair, the House, to our point number 4, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, betting promotes economic diversification and digital financial inclusion. The chair, the House, betting platforms, especially the mobile-based ones, introduce users to digital systems. The chair, in regions where the banking systems are limited, mobile betting accounts for a major and also mobile money use and digital transactions. The chair, the House, this has been observed in Ghana, Kenya, and also India, in which these bettors use this MTN mobile money and also the M-Pesa in their transaction activities. The chair, the House, the research from Inyago and also the Obero 2020 in the mobile sports gambling and economic impact highlights that how betting supports economic diversification and also digital inclusion. The chair, the House. Point number 5, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, we believe that betting game promotes concentration and also improves intelligence. The chair, to place a bet, one must evaluate the team statistics, the history, performance, odds, and even the potential outcomes. The chair, this processes sharpens the critical thinking and also the problem-solving skills. But the chair, this is according to AP psychology. These are valuable in both personal and professional life. The chair, so my dear opponent, to jump into this hasty conclusion that thinking betting is negative, you may come again. But the chair, before I take my seat, can you permit me to be the soothsayer of the day? I won't be surprised if my opponents here mount this podium to conclude and make an assertion that betting causes addiction. The chair of the House, whilst gambling, addiction is well and concerning, it is satisfactorily limited to small population or gamblers. According to Boateng L.O., in 2024, only majority of the bettors in Ghana, Volta region exhibited addictive behavior and also most responded to well treatment. The chair of the House, the essential question is, should society penalize people or many responsible to bettors before few cases are excess? The chair of the House, the addiction also exists in gaming. social media, and even food consumption, instead of condemning betting alone? Why is it that certain solutions lie in harm reduction strategies, such as therapy, counseling centers, and even awareness campaigns? So should we regulate and support instead of criminalizing what we should be controlled? The chair, the House. I won't be surprised if my opponents also hear me on this podium to talk about betting leads to youth delinquency and school dropout. The chair, the House. Blaming betting alone super simplifies what a deeper social problem. Research by Kwache L.O. in 2018 shows that the youth with strong parental guidance and access to school counseling are significantly less to misuse betting platforms. Is that not true, the chair? And also, rather than banning betting, we should implement stronger family engagement, school mentorship programs, and enforce minimum age restrictions, which we do here on television. Please bet responsibly, not for children under 18 years. We do hear that. Anna, chair, the House. I won't be surprised if my opponents here from OMES mount this podium to assert that betting encourages laziness and discourages hard work. The chair, from my previous point, I said that betting is a hobby which people do when they are free from work. The chair, the House, evidence from Ofosu and Kwate in my previous point in 2022 indicates that the most bettors in Ghana view betting as a casual hobby, not a financial alternative for employment. The chair, the House, we all assume that everyone who places small bets is not avoiding work, but he is trying to bet just get relaxed or just be in a hobby activity. The chair, the House, this means that they are not working. No, this means that they are just resting or they are in their hobby. The chair, the House, I greet you all with the starting, sir. We don't want to. The chair, the House, I will say that before I take my seat, I would like to tell you all that thank you, the chair, the House.
If betting truly brings more good than harm, then why are our youth losing their sanity, savings, and in some tragic cases, their very lives to it? The chairperson, respected judges, exact timekeeper, the GES, ARSRC, WDS Ashanti, our general sponsors, committed teachers and trainers, worthy opponents, eager viewers and listeners, all protocols duly observed. Ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon. I am Rosalind Owusu Edisei, the principal arguer for Oppon Memorial Senior High School. We are fervently against the motion, quote and unquote, betting game has more positives than negatives. The chair permits me to define the key terms in the motion to enhance easy comprehension of our argument today. Giving layman's contextual definition to key terms, betting game refers to various activities which people wager on income, whilst positive refers to something desirable or beneficial, whilst negative refers to something undesirable or harmful. Ladies and gentlemen, my opponents are just looking at the illusory job creation and income generation promise of betting. But I ask, must a society gamble away its future just to keep its young ones momentarily employed? Ladies and gentlemen, popularity does not equal benefit. We strongly believe that the negative impact of betting game far outweighs any perceived advantages. With this backdrop, I will not circumlocute. I'll go straight to our 5 strong points to buttress our stance. The chair, betting fuels addiction, especially among the youth, leading to the distraction of academics. Panel, gambling is psychologically addictive. Many youths of today, especially males between 18 to 35 years, spend long hours and limited resources chasing uncertain wins. Panel, according to the Mental Health Authority Ghana 2022, cases of gambling have increased in the recent years among the youths. Ladies and gentlemen, addiction ruins academic performances, social relationships, and financial stability. Ladies and gentlemen, even my opponents here will bear with me that in our various schools, instead of us to learn during prep times or lesson hours or even time to go to bed, you hear them shouting, "Go, Barca, come back, Madrid." Panel, by the time you get there, you will see them strictly focusing on their phones, not their books. And as a result, distracting the academic performances of the students. So my opponent, is this what you term as the positivity aspects? I bet you are checking out. To our second point, the chair, betting drains the economy and promotes financial irresponsibility. Betting companies has profits, massively profits, in the expense of citizens who lose more than they gain. According to the Business and Financial Times 2021, over 4 billion Ghana cedis is spent annually on betting in Ghana, with only a fraction circulating back into the economy. Panel, the flow of this money into multinational betting firms leads to capital flight and worsen personal financial instability. Ladies and gentlemen, I want to ask my opponent these questions. My opponent, whom does betting companies like mybet.com, sportybet, and football.com belong to? Do they belong to Ghanaians? No. Panel, isn't it pathetic that after spending over 4 billion Ghana cedis into this betting game, we get only few money issued into the economy, and the rest are accumulated and given to those who own these big companies who are not Ghanaians? And this drains the economy of the nations. So I am shocked that my opponents have wanted to argue that the positive aspects far outweigh the negatives. To our third point, the chair, betting encourages laziness and illusion of overnight wealth. Betting promotes a culture of dependence on chance rather than hard work, talent, or entrepreneurship. Panel, many youth of today abandon productive ventures because they believe a jackpot is just a one click away from instant wealth. Panel, Dr. Kwame Asamoah at the University of Ghana have noted that betting has become the new cocaine for the idleness of the youth. Ladies and gentlemen, a youth of today who is having 500 cedis or 300 cedis on him or her, instead to invest in long-term business that will bring profits, due to laziness, he or she will just visit the jackpot and start to feed the jackpot with his or her money, aiming to get multiple folds of the money. But panel, not knowing nothing on this earth is achieved on a silver platter. Laziness has become a big syndrome that is affecting the youth of today, which is not helping the working force. To our fourth point, the chair, betting leads to increase in social vices such as theft, fraud, and even suicide. Panel, the desperation to recover losses pushes many of the youth into petty theft, mobile money fraud, and loan default. According to the Police Service Ghana, they have linked the rise of youth cybercrime to gambling-related death. According to myjoyonline.com 2021, a KNUST student committed suicide because he invested a borrowed money into betting game. Ladies and gentlemen, this has become the status quo. Many of the youth who are neck deep into this betting game find all ways and means to get money to invest in them, and it will lead them engaging in petty theft, fraud, and the others. And imagine, after engaging in all these things, and you lose Skanashi, what will you do? It will engage you, or it will ginger you to even cause harm, leading to suicide. So my opponent, I was wondering why you argue that it causes entertainment. Because which kind of entertainment leads people to commit suicide? Answer me, which kind of entertainment leads people to commit suicide? To our fifth point, panel, the still positive of the betting game are mostly illusory and unsustainable. Yes, panel, it is true that some people win money. But panel, such cases are rare and lure victims into too many acts. Panel, unlike employment and investment, betting adds no skill to the individual or long-term profit. Betting is zero-sum. For one person to win, 1,000 people must lose. Ladies and gentlemen, betting is a momentary shimmer clothed in hope, unsustainable, and it's not deeply rooted in the moral and social perspectives. That's why I asked, must a society gamble away its future just to keep its young ones momentarily employed? No. Ladies and gentlemen, colleague debaters, let us be guided not by sentiment, but by reason and evidence. Now, panel, before I resume my seat, I would like to rebut some falsehood arguments raised by my opponent. My opponent mounted this podium to argue that betting provides job creation. Really? But panel, betting is not employment. It is a gamble that drains the little money youth have, luring them into repeated losses under the illusion of income. According to the Mental Health Authority Ghana, gambling addiction is on the rise among unemployed youth, a trap that poses as opportunity is still a trap. Again, my opponents argue that the addiction is only among small people. Really? Panel, the Mental Health Authority Ghana 2022 again shows that cases of gambling addiction have increased alarmingly. So my opponent, does your point disprove a universal truth? Again, my opponents argue that betting is a form of entertainment. Really? Panel, true entertainment brings joy, not distraction. In Ghana, betting has been linked to depression, addiction, and in some cases, suicide. That is not entertainment, my opponent. That is emotional extortion. Ladies and gentlemen, colleague debaters, a country that trains long-term planning with chance and also hard work with overnight miracle is the one heading towards distraction. Ladies and gentlemen, let us oppose the motion, quote and unquote. Betting game has more positives than negatives. Thank you.
Hello, Dr. Peter. Though I am still young, lessons from life have taught me that it is better to serve truth with dedication than to live in obedience or falsehood. That's why I stand firm, determined to guide my opponent towards the right path. Now, my civilities to the chair, wise and amiable panel of educators, to the accurate timekeeper, organizers of Love FM High School debate, our lovely co-debaters, fellow students, ladies and gentlemen, representing I Amass Senior High School Kumasi today, I am Perry, Nicholas, Manasseh, Cole, Aqua, McAllister, a proud supporting speaker, speaking boldly for the motion on board quote. Betting game has more positive than negative. The chair, for a clear argument and presentation, I would like to add up to the tangible points raised by my principal speaker. But the chair, the motion once again, simply means that the benefit of betting has outweighed the adverse effects, and we stand to affirm the motion. I, unequivocally, stand to speak for the motion with the following reasons. Point 6, ladies and gentlemen, we believe that betting companies significantly support sports and community development through sponsorship. Many betting companies are among the leading sponsors of local sports, tournaments, and community development program. In Ghana, for instance, Betway has supported Premier League clubs and offer training programs for coaches, journalists, and players. This is confirmed in an article titled, and I quote, Betway and Development of Sports in Ghana, unquote. The chair. Again, in Kenya, funded by Nyamango and Obregu in 2020 in mobile sports gambling and economic impact indicate that over 53% of the citizens believe that betting game has enhanced the quality of modern sports and local sports. Again, yet again, in South Africa, Hollywood Bets supports community sports projects and operate charitable initiative through Hollywood Foundation. This can be traced in Sports and Community Engagement Report in 2023. Dr. Peter, this sponsorship help promote sports culture, empower youth, and reduce crime rate by keeping young people engaged. Point 7, the chair. We believe that recreational betting improve mental stimulation and emotional well-being. Research has shown that when betting is done in moderation, and it can stimulate cognitive processes such as risk-taking, decision-making, and strategy. In Ghana, funded by J. and Mensa in 2023, in the effect of sports betting on the moral behaviors of students in colleges of education in Ghana reveals that college students who engage in sports betting increase excitement, knowledge about sport, and a sense of entertainment. Globally, similar studies have shown that older adults who are engaged in recreational gambling are less experienced to depression than their co-counterparts who do not gamble at all. Dr. Peter, betting can serve as a form of leisure that supports mental health. Points, and this brings us to our last point, and of course, our favorite point, the chair. We believe that in order for people to engage in betting games, there must be facilities that facilitate the same. For these reasons, we believe that apart from providing employment for people, the betting company can also be seen as lucrative ventures for business people to exploit. KFC Dr. Peter, just like the food industry, which started booming up, like KFC, when it started gaining money, a huge number of business people have started looking at betting and as a means of becoming millionaires. For instance, City Newsroom reported that in 2020 that in just a few years, the number of licensed betting companies has increased from 12 to 31, still counting. This indeed will not be possible if betting games were not a lucrative business ventures. Now, the chair, before I take my seat, allow me to set the record straight and dismantle some bold but business fallacies made by my opponents on the ground. The chair, my opponents argue because of 1, addiction, 2, laziness, 3, poverty, 4, unemployment. The chair, I am sure my principal speaker mounted this podium and talk about addiction, but I don't know the reason why they are still claiming that addiction is the negative part of betting. Now, the chair, addiction, they say, while gambling addiction is real and concerning, it is statistically limited to a small proportion of gamblers, according to Boateng itself in 2024. Only a majority in Ghana, Volta region exhibits addictive behavior, and most responded well to treatment. The essential question is, should society penalize the many responsible bettors because of a few causes of excess? Addiction also exists in gaming, social media, and events, food, and even food consumption. In Oxford, they made mention of betting laziness. The chair, evidence from Ofusu and Kote indicates that most bettors in Ghana view betting as a casual hobby, not financial alternative to employment. Are we to assume that everyone who places a small bet is avoiding work? Betting happens during free time, after work, or other weekends. The chair, they made mention of financial loss. Financial leadership often stem from poor money management, not betting alone. Just as people can overspend or shopping outside or alcohol, some may do also with betting. Now, Dr. Peter, they made mention of unemployment. We can see that if betting doesn't employ people, then why is it soccer bet offer 500 jobs for opportunities? The chair, the lines are drawn. My assertions are clear. Thank you. I rest my case.
The chair and the house. Ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon. I, Christabel Nyako, stand as the supporting speaker opposing the motion before the house. Quote and unquote. Betting game has more positives than negatives. My colleague has reviewed the flaws in the motion, and I am here to deepen that critique with additional arguments and counter evidence, as well as rebut some questionable issues raised by my quite overwhelmed opponent. To answer it point the chair, betting disproportionately affects low-income and vulnerable population. In Ghana, betting is most rampant in urban slums and low-income communities. Betting has greater negative impact on people with low income and those who are vulnerable, such as the elderly, people with mental health issues, and those who have precarious financial situations. It may lead to financial strain as individuals with low income spend their limited resources on bets, causing financial distress, and also lack of resources, where individuals will lack resources to manage gambling addiction. Betting companies target the poor with persuasive advertisements, promising riches, and also it targets the vulnerable group, increasing the risk of harm. The chair, a study by the Center for Democratic Development found that large portions of the chair and the house, betting companies prey on desperation, targeting the poor with persuasive advertisements, promising riches. A study by the Ghana for Democratic Development in 2021 found that a large portion of sports betting users were unemployed youth or workers earning below 1,000 cedis monthly. So my opponent, if you claim that betting has more positives than negatives is true, why are we observing the opposite reality? To our 7th point, the chair, betting corrupts family values and erodes social responsibility. Many breadwinners have gambled away family savings or have gambled away family savings or borrowed money under false pretense to bet. This has led to increase in domestic conflict, broken homes, and strained relationships. The chair, example, a father who is addicted to betting may spend family's rent money on bets, and also a mother who is addicted to online betting may neglect the needs of her children, missing important family issues. Reverend Dr. Joyce Ayi, in a 2023 public lecture, warned that betting is slowly dismantling the communal ethos of African families. My opponent, with this reality, do you have data or studies to back your claim that betting has more positives than negatives? And if you do, are they valid? Last but not least, the panel. Regulatory systems in Ghana are too weak to protect citizens from betting abuse. Though the Gaming Commission of Ghana exists, yet regulations are weak and regulations are weak. Though the Gaming Commission of Ghana exists, yet regulation is weak and largely reactive. Examples are unlicensed operators operating freely and ignoring regulations, betting shops operating near schools, and online platforms with little age verification. My opponents may argue that there are age verification limits in betting, but the chair and the house, let's take this example. A 12-year-old boy registers for betting, and in the course of signing in, he claims he is 18 years. What institution is there to check whether he is lying or not? A question I posed to my opponents. In 2022, the Ghana Education Service had to caution students against gambling when viral videos showed high school students betting on school premises. My opponents, you claim liberty, yet your solution changed the very people you claim to liberate. The chair and the house. Now rebuttals. My opponents argue that betting companies contribute to the economy, but do jobs built on loss and misery truly grow a nation? Betting firms pay taxes, but the cost to the society far outweighs those contributions. The losses endured by families, mental health services, and law enforcement are raw and rising. Again, the chair, my opponents argue that betting companies contribute. My opponents suggest that betting encourages intelligence and strategic thinking. This is a short-term thinking, but if betting is so intellectual, why do more students drop out than level up? Strategy has no place in a game designed to favor the house. Betting isn't chess. It's Russian roulette with your wallet. It's a distraction, not a development tool. The chair and the house. Ladies and gentlemen, the arguments I have raised today shows that the motion before the house lacks the practicality and truth it claims. I therefore stand strongly against the motion. Thank you.
Hello. The chair, my second coming is not to gallivant around, but to summarize what we've talked about. My great supporting speaker and I raised 8 solid points, and these are as follows. Point 1, we asserted betting games serves as a major source of government revenue. Point 2, we said betting industries offer job for the youth. Point 3, we asserted betting games is a form of entertainment. Point 4, through betting, there is a digital financial inclusion. Point 5, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, betting promotes concentration and improves intelligence. Point 6, betting companies support sports and community development through sponsorship. Point 7, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, recreational betting improves mental stimulation and emotional well-being. Point 8, and finally, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, betting serves as a business venture. But the chair, before I take my seat, kindly permit me to debunk some certain fallacies my opponents here mounted this podium to raise. The chair, the principal speaker of Amass, mounted this podium to assert that betting does not provide employment. So the chair, I asked, why was the YEA collaborated with the soccer bet to create 500 job opportunities? The chair, I asked you, I asked my opponents, why did the YEA collaborated with the soccer bet to create 500 job opportunities? The chair, the supporting speaker, also mounted this podium to assert that betting destroys families and relationships. The assertion overlooks the root of the most family conflicts, such as lack of communication, stress, and also the addiction of numbers of things, including alcohol, work, and also social and also social activities, and also social dependable part of the country and fiscal landscapes. The chair, the House, Burton funds help support local government and many more. So the chair, if you mount this podium to say the chair, when my opponents mount this podium to assert that Burton destroys family and relationship, consider such as a total fallacy. The chair, the House, the principal speaker also mounted this podium to assert a lot, and he asserted that the supporting speaker also mounted this podium and asserted a whole lot. The chair, the House, the Wache and the Gobe, they enjoy every day in school. All these are some of the sources under the Burton tax the government gained. So Ebusiafo, hey, and I win the dining. The chair, the House, I rest my case.
My opponent, you made mention that betting do not lead to destruction of family, as we said. But are theft not part of the social thing you made mention of? Again, you made mention of soccer bets like WEA offering a job opportunity for the youth. Really, my opponent, as we argued, such cases are rare and heavily publicized to lure more victims. And let me ask, what evidence did you show? What if it was an enticing way to lead many youth into destruction? Ladies and gentlemen, I'm on this podium once again, not to reignite an argument which we know we have already won, but to reiterate our stance, rebut opposing views where necessary have already done, and give a strong conclusion to our argument. In opposing the motion before the House today, we raised and elucidated 8 well-thought-through points. First, betting fuels addiction, especially among the youth, destroying lives and futures. Secondly, betting drains the economy and promotes financial irresponsibility. Again, betting encourages laziness and illusion of overnight wealth. Point 4, betting leads to increase in social vices such as theft, fraud, and even suicide. Point 5, the few positive of betting are mostly illusory and not sustainable. Point 6, betting disproportionately affects low income and vulnerable population. Point 7, betting corrupts family values and erode social responsibilities. Point 8, and of course our last point, regulatory systems in Ghana is too weak to protect citizens from betting abuse. My opponent, your argument that the dining we eat in school are all sorts of the tax from the betting is a falsehood, because how many of the betting companies give money as tax to the economy? And if they do, how much do they invest in the economy of the nation? Before you come here, do your research well. Thank you.
All right, so we've come to the end of contest 5 for today. In a few minutes away from now, contest 6 will begin. And contest 6 will be between St. Louis Senior High School and Barikesi Senior High School. The motion will be brain drain is the cause of government and not the individuals. But just gone by, like I mentioned, was contest 5. It was between I Amass and, of course, Oppon Memorial. Amass! Amass! Phobia! Omes! 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 All right, so please put your hands together for your own selves as we say a big thank you to the debaters. Your results will be announced shortly. For those of you watching us on television, we're going on a very short break. We'll be back to bring to you contest 6. But up until then, enjoy a few commercials. We'll be right back.